So today we got something new. We got the Stihl AutoCut 36-2, and this is going to be the replacement trimmer head for this thing. So one thing I want to compare is you look at the size difference. So if we look at it, like, dude, that's just kind of crazy. This thing is almost like half a size bigger. One thing I want to point out is see how much the actual bump head is sticking out, and you compare that to this. So at one point, I think that this was also sticking out at least a quarter of an inch, or like I don't know, like 5 millimeters. This is also probably an AutoCut head, but this thing's so old that, you know, it's so old that you can tell it's old, you know. But this thing, like, weight wise, this is actually almost the same, which is also very interesting. This one is full of line right now, and this is a 0.105 diameter, so that's 2.7 millimeters, but it has a round silent line. So we're gonna test this out. So one thing I haven't done yet, I haven't taken off the cap, which is something I want to do to see the inside. So this is all factory in here. This line, wow, look at that. That's fancy. So if you look at this, the entire design of this thing is a lot better than what I have in the other one. And then you got a full spool of string, which is also good. So we'll try this stuff out and see how this works. It'll be interesting to see how this keeps up against that tall grass. So this is the grass we're going to be cutting. So as you guys can hear, we're going to do things a little differently. I'm going to be adding some commentary on this video. As we're editing this video on Sunday, June 27th, we're currently sitting at 504 subscribers, and I'd like to take some time to thank each and every one of you who subscribed, to thank those of you who have been following the videos, who have been liking, who have been commenting. Thank you to each and every one of you. I appreciate, I guess you could say, your loyalty. I appreciate that, you know, you guys are taking your time out of your day to watch my videos. You know, thank you for that. I hope, you know, what I'm doing has more of an impact than just, you know, entertainment. At least, you know, some kind of knowledge or something like that. So yeah, big thank you to each and every one of you, and let's hope by the end, you know, by the time I finish editing this video, we can get to 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, if you haven't already, you know, please consider subscribing, or, you know, don't even consider, just, you know, go ahead and, as everybody else on YouTube says, smack that subscribe button. That would mean a lot to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you. One thing that maybe a lot of people don't hear is that I usually always say this at the end of a video, is God bless you. I don't say this because you watched my video. I say this because I believe each and every one of us, we need God's blessing in our lives. You know, if you haven't heard that, or, you know, you've never heard that, you know, I'm telling you now that, you know, may God bless you. Not because you watched my video, because we're all in need of God's blessing in our lives. So let's get back to the less important stuff. So why did I choose the AutoCut 36-2? One of the big factors was the type of line you could fit. In this current video, I'm using the 0.105 inch diameter line, or 2.7 millimeter line. And the cool thing about this trimmer head is that it can go anywhere from 2.4 millimeters to 3.3 millimeters, which is 0.95 of an inch to 0.130 of an inch. And that's a very huge, I guess, size. You can fit 4 different types of line in there, and the 0.130 and the 0.120 are actually quite big, and I hope in a future video to try those out, to test them out and see how they kind of work, because I've only used 0.105, that's the highest I've gone so far, and I think that the 0.120 or 0.130 against tall grass like this would be a lot better than 0.105, but I'm not sure, because I still haven't used the square line on this tall grass yet. I've just used the factory line that this trimmer head came with. So that was kind of talking about, you know, what kind of trimmer line the trimmer can fit. Another thing I noticed is the actual size of the trimmer head. Compared to the old trimmer head that I had, and then as you can see in the beginning of the video, this 36-2 is actually a lot larger. It's, it's a quite a large trimmer head, and one of the first things I had, or kind of like first thoughts I had when I saw it, I was like, oh man, this might be, a little wonky or a little uncomfortable because, how big of the trimmer head is. The previous trimmers, or trimmer heads I've used, it was this one and then a 25-2, which is kind of a small, yeah, it is a smaller trimmer head, and it's only the highest line it can go is 0.105. So that thing's kind of limited. But when I looked at this thing, one of the first things I kind of looked at was, the size. I was kind of unsure about it, but it kind of turns out, I've been unsure about the size of the grass blades too. I have the brush knife and then the regular 4-point grass blade. When I first saw those things, I kind of doubted them too. I didn't really understand, well, not understand, I just didn't really have faith. I don't even know if it had faith. It just kind of looked, it's like, how can something this small, do something? But when you think about it, going back to the physics of things, even a small object going at a very fast speed, in this case it's like momentum, it can do a lot of damage. Kind of like think of a bullet when it's flying, it can hurt somebody, really bad. So it's kind of the same thing, is that this trimmer head, I think due to the size, it allows more momentum, and that's something that the smaller trimmer head doesn't have, is that, it can get stopped more easily. But with this one, it just keeps spinning and spinning, kind of like the same idea with the grass blades, I think. And then one of the other advantages I saw is that the grass doesn't tangle as much. So in some cases, yeah, it would start tangling around the trimmer head, but it would get beat right off. With the other trimmer head, the old one, the grass would just start tangling, and then it would just tangle. In this case, it kind of lays on top of the shaft of the trimmer head, but it just doesn't have time to tangle because the head is moving it away from the shaft. So that's a very good advantage to it. Another thing I really liked is that the size of the bump head, the actual tapping point on the trimmer head that releases the line, that thing's actually very wide, and that's very helpful in the case of, when you're working in areas where the ground is soft, or the ground is soft, or you're not sure of what you're tapping on. In this case, it allows, I would say a little bit less effort on the tapping part, because of the other trimmer head, it got worn down so much where I literally had to like beat it against the ground to at least, get a small release or something. But most of the time what would happen is that dirt would get in the actual trimmer head and then it just wouldn't tap, and sometimes I'd be tapping it for no reason, and so that was a huge downside. But with this thing, the trimmer, the tapping point, or I guess the bump head is, it's quite big, so it makes things a lot easier. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about was, what kind of trimmer heads you can fit onto the FS-131. So it still does have, other options. There's the AutoCut, there's the DuroCut, there's the fixed cut, and then you have things like the super cut, there's poly cut, trim cut. There's a lot of options to use. So, if you own a 131 or, a different type of, FS model, Stihl does have a online chart that you can use, and I'll throw that in the link in the description for you to check out, because I think it is kind of helpful to show you, the auto cut, or the trimmer head name, the part number, and then also, the standard use of line it comes with, and then, what kind of other optional lines you can put in that same trimmer head. And then in the chart it talks about, like all the different models. So in this case, the FS-131, you could fit a, let's see, hold up. Oh yeah, 131, you could put a 25-2, a AutoCut C 25-2, or an AutoCut C 26-2, an AutoCut 30-2, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different options, it's kind of worth exploring. So I'll link this chart in the description for you guys to check out if you want. So maybe, if I guess, if there's enough interest, maybe in the future I could probably get another trimmer head too, try out something else to see, what else works. I'm kind of interested in trying out the DuroCut. I've heard it sucks, but looking at the types of blade, or the type of line it has, it I think the biggest head is a 40-4, and it's rated for 0.155 of an inch line. I think in millimeters that's like 4 millimeters. That's just a huge wild guess. I don't know, but yeah, you know, I don't know, that one wouldn't fit on the FS-131, but you know, there's the other one, which is the AutoCut 20-2. That one would work, you know. And looking at the line that it has, you know, it is interesting. So maybe that's something in the future to try out. But I don't know. Maybe, you know, if there's enough requests for it, we could try it out. Or maybe even, you know, one of the polycuts. Because those things, you know, they look kind of weird too. I've heard, you know, the plastic blades are kind of, I guess you could say they're kind of whack, you know. It is kind of weird, but, you know, I guess if they're still selling them, then there's probably a reason for it, and they're producing a lot of newer polycut heads, so that's kind of interesting too. So maybe that's something worth to try out. But I don't know. You know, if there's interest, then let me know in the comment section. We'll probably try it out in the future sometime. So I'm not really sure about the entire, you know, video commentary thing. You know, I don't know. I think some people might like it. Some people, you know, would prefer to just watch grass cutting. You know, if this is something you liked, let me know in the comment section. If it's something you didn't like, you know, you can also let me know. Instead of, you know, dropping a dislike, like the video and then just comment in the description, you know. Say that you don't like the commentary, because that'd be a lot better, you know, for the algorithm, for my friends. But yeah, you know, if this is something you like, you know, let me know. You know, if you've stuck around to this part of the video, I thank you. You know, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of this video. So, you know, that'd be awesome. But yeah, the rest of the video is without commentary, so I hope you guys enjoy that. So we just cut a pretty good sized area, and honestly I am very satisfied with this thing. As you can see, it's kind of already got a lot of use on it, but that's the point. Work equipment is to be used. This thing is awesome, dude. I really like that I don't have to like actually like smack it a bunch against the ground. And that area right there, a little farther back towards the edge, I did have to smack it a little bit because there's really no ground over there. I'll show it real quick. So you can see that it's good, and then as I step, it starts dropping. So there's a lot of holes. Kind of see how it is in here. That's how it is. There's a lot of soft dirt, a lot of soft mud in there, so it takes more effort to find an area where it's suitable to bump the head. So I got to look around for it. Sometimes you hit an area, it works a little bit, and you hit it again, and then you get a face full of mud. But for the most part, this thing is amazing. This line right here, this round trimmer line, this stuff is also really good. It's good for this kind of shorter stuff and then the medium growth, but for this extremely tall stuff, this stuff it's good for, very good for. But for this type of stuff right here, it's not good. See these taller strands and how it's super thick down here? Kind of see how it got cut up. But yeah, it's not good for these ones because those are just too thick. If you notice towards the end of that last shot, that last scene, I had to smack it really hard. I had to bump the head a lot because the line was getting eaten up. So I think for this taller stuff, it'd be better to use the orange trimmer line. I really want to see how that works with that trimmer head. I feel like that'd be very awesome. But that red line for this stuff, it cuts great. It's awesome. I'm really satisfied with it. So I think this is something to keep in mind for the future. I haven't used round line for a very long time, so I kind of forgot how it was. I kind of just grew stubborn with the orange line, thinking, you know, this is all we're gonna use. And for the most part, yeah, it does cut everything nicely, but in a sense of how smooth the cut is, it kind of makes it a little harder or a little rougher. But yeah, we'll try that taller stuff with the orange line whenever the red one runs out, and we'll see how things go from there. So we're making progress by progress. Not a lot, but you know, there's a lot of work to be done. I'll probably have to do things off camera. Well, actually I do a lot of things off camera, just that I want to record some things too, you know, just to make it more exciting for myself and for you guys. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this Stihl AutoCut 36-2. Maybe you have a 26-2 or a 46-2. Let me know what you guys think of those. Maybe you have one of those old trimmer heads that I had that's just like complete garbage, you know, it's like this. There's like nothing sticking out of it. But let me know. Yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good night. God bless. Bye.